Hey guys, Serpent X here. Following up on the slave cylinder that I should have installed a long time ago that's over there in the corner. Yes, I got two boxes because I fucked up on the check valve delete on the first one, and then the second one I got done. There's the Honda OEM brake fluid that you need, .3. And I wanted to just go over some basics. All of this stuff can pretty much be covered in other videos I've seen. Just disconnect the battery. I honestly would remove the battery. I tried removing this plate. You don't necessarily need to, but I wanted some more room. The bolt that's back on this corner that's underneath is a pain in the ass. Almost looks like you got to get it to it from underneath, so just don't bother with it. Move the battery. If you have the stock air box, you might want to move, if you can, remove the stock air box and see if you can't get some more space, but just open it up because you're going to need to the right of this hose and to the left of this section right here. So this radiator hose, you want to be able to get left and right. So right now it's disconnected. Slave cylinder's chilling there. I even disconnected the brake line, the brake fluid line, and it's ready to come out. Just wanted to go over a couple points here. So the bolts on top of the slave cylinder are 12. The slave cylinder, you're going to need a 17 mil and a 10 millimeter. One to kind of hold the, oh my goodness, I can't even think today. So the brake fluid nut, or that line right there. Where'd the nut go? There it is. Alright, so you need to hold that nut down with the 10 and kind of use on that big 17 millimeter nut on the end of the slave cylinder. You kind of want to twist in opposite directions of each other. Go slow, because obviously you got little room to work. Literally, it's only incremental. Before you disconnect the two 12s that are holding the slave cylinder on, I would recommend loosening and maybe going, taking it all the way out. The brake line, or excuse me, the brake line that is a clutch line. Just loosen that up, and then you should be able to remove the two 12s, and that guy should pop up. Of course, installing this is going to be fun, and I'll come back to that once I have it all put together. But just give yourself some room here. You're going to need a 12 millimeter socket. You're going to want an extension of some type, and then a 17 and a 10, and that's pretty much all you need. To remove the battery, you need a 10 as well. If you want to take this tray off, it's one 12 right here that holds this cable on, and then the rest of these are 13. One there, one underneath on this side, and one underneath on that side, and then 10 millimeter for your stock air box. I don't know. I didn't have to take it somewhere up there in my mess, but I'll bring it back once I get everything situated, cleaned up, maybe prepped. Show you what I did. I do need some anti-seize to put on the end of the ball of the slave cylinder. So the real test is how it all runs after the fact. Just wanted to insert this little bit right here. Look at this. This is what came off the TL. This is an Asian or Nissan. No, that's an Asian. AISIN. It's usually OEM. This is also a Luke slave cylinder, which is usually OEM, but you can see there's clear differences. By the way, there's the check valve. That little thing right there. Each one has different check valves, to be honest. And if you notice, like this one has kind of the same ending as that, and that's what I used in my last video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it in the description. All you gotta do is carve out the end of this here. This cap pops out, and there should be a check valve in there, but I believe this one's completely different looking. So anyways, you take that check valve out, you put it all back together, and then you need to mount it. Obviously, we need to get some grease in this boot, so this boot comes off. We got to put some grease in there. We got to put this pin in, and then we need to put some anti-seize on the tip here, so to speak. And that's where it's gonna engage with the clutch. When you push in the clutch, that's what pushes that in. The plunger, excuse me. So look at this guy. What is this little plastic thing here? And why is this got some weird zip tie thing? Do I need that? If I do need that, I can't take the zip tie thing off. I suspect, I was thinking it was like, maybe it's like the protective point. Oh yeah, grease. So when this depresses all the way down, I'm guessing it hits this. so it doesn't go all the way down. I'm not entirely sure. Is that a little bit longer? Hang on. Yeah, the boot's a little bit longer. I don't know, we have to play with it. I'm gonna double check the instructions. Of course, this little stopper point here did not come, and this little cap did not come as well. I don't think I need to transfer it over, but I'm gonna double check. Always check your OEM specs first. Check with a colleague, friend, if you got a mechanic friend. Obviously, if you had a mechanic friend, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But anyways, here's the stock OEM slave cylinder that came in my 2005 Acura TL. And here's the OEM replacement, which is from Luke, which has, as you can see, different compatibility. So we'll play around with it. I'll do some research, and I will bring you back on once I get it all put together. Alright, I had to install it first. Obviously, I couldn't hold it at the same time. So I put some anti-seize. Pick up at your local parts store, some Permatex anti-seize. And let's see if I can get you in there to see it. Bear with me. So you see that little bit of silver? That's the anti-seize. So you put it on the end of the ball, and then you put it in place. What I actually did is I disconnected, because that's why I moved the battery out of the way. So this little clip right here kind of moved out of the way. Now I can pop it in there. So that way I could connect the line a little bit further up. So I actually was able to come up to about right here, and I connected the line by hand. It's not all the way tightened down, obviously. I need to tighten it some more. But in order to get everything in line, you angle it in with the ball to the pedal, or the lever right here. It's not going anywhere. It's in there. There's also grease that I put in the boot. As I said, you want to do that. And then while holding it with my left hand, right, I put this bolt in to hold it in place. Now I need to push it up a little bit, put the second bolt in. But I wanted to show you the start of the install. Also, I didn't mention this. This is the O2 sensor for this exhaust bank. I basically moved it out of the way because you're going to need to, there's a bracket right here. You can kind of see it. That black bracket right here bolts onto this hole. So you don't want to put a bolt in there just yet till you get everything tight and everything settled. This bolt on the left is just to basically get it started, hold it in place while you use the 17 millimeter and the 10 millimeter to tighten up everything. So now it's pretty much tightened up, and pump up the clutch, bleed it out, put some new fluid in, and we should be good to go. I actually didn't lose much fluid. I left the cap on, and only a little bit dropped. You can see it down there, only a little bit dropped out. And the fluid was really dirty. I'll show that up on the screen in a little bit. This fluid was really dirty. So hopefully this helps out with my smooth shifting that I've been having issues with from second to third or third to fourth. Alright guys, I cheated a little bit. I'm already at the gas station before I turned on the camera. Driving a lowered car kills your axles, at least especially for Honda and Acura. Let's see if I can jump out in front of this truck. Second gear. The clutch pedal feels a lot softer, but the engagement's pretty smooth. When I was bleeding the clutch lines, man, it was like turd milkshake. It was bad. It was so dark and nasty. So I think a combination between that, you know, that was the OEM, the slave cylinder that came out of the factory. You know, it's never been maintained, it's never been managed. So I replaced the slave cylinder. I bled the heck out of the lines. I had to do it quite a while. I had to get my my fiance to give me a hand, but I just basically used a line, cut open one of my NOS energy drink bottles, dropped the line in there with a little bit of brake fluid, and just kept bleeding. So that way because there was fluid already in there, it wasn't any way for air to come back up. It would just bleed out. And you know, now I got nothing but clear Honda OEM brake fluid or clutch fluid, whichever you want to call it. And the pedal feels really soft. I'm not riding the clutch or anything. The only thing I saw was that the boot. So the clutch fork, when it engages, right, when it depresses in or it gets pushed back out by the slave cylinder, there's a little squeak. And I put grease on the inside of the boot. I put anti-seize on the end of the ball on the fork. But I went ahead and jacked up the car and then kind of put some anti-seize on my finger, and kind of there's a bolt that clutch fork is, you know, connected to or is being held on by. So I just put some grease on the inner area. You can't see it, so you just gotta feel for it. You just put your finger in there and then you put some grease on there. I would double check with OEM specs to see what they say about that, but that squeak was a little bit annoying for me, so I wanted to take care of it. Besides that, the clutch pedal is soft. You know, I'm downshifting in third. It is engaging a lot. It feels to me it's engaging a lot better. It's engaging a whole lot better. Now I'm on some back roads, so I can't really go too fast because there's residents and runners and bikers. But I really need to get a good spot where I could do a quick second and third shift, and we should be good to go. But as of right now, the clutch pedal is working a lot better. It's a lot smoother. It's a little bit softer, and I think that's because there's less resistance because the check valve and the fluid has changed. So the check valve slows down the fluid, and then the fluid just being gunked up and crappy looking probably didn't help out with the original slave cylinder's check valve. So I'll wrap up this video saying that it's definitely worth it. If you have a Honda or Acura and you can get a slave cylinder that gives you the capability of deleting the check valve, you should definitely do it. It's going to improve the responsiveness of, you know, your shifts. You know, a lot of people, the reason they do it is they want those quick shifts or quicker shifts, not delayed, and that's what the master cylinder, which is going to be the next thing for me, the master cylinder, the combination between that and the slave cylinder, they slow the fluid down, they slow the engagement down, so that way people don't wear out the clutch too fast. And for average daily drivers, I can see what I'd be benefit for the manufacturers, but for somebody that wants to do some spirited driving, you want to do the check valve delete and maybe the master cylinder, get the K-tuned one, which just completely deletes the diaphragm, this little triangular diaphragm that slows down the fluid as well. Both of those will give you that smooth, crisp shifts, but as of right now, it's already feeling that way. So thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm currently on the way to go get that driver's side axle replaced because I don't have the tools to do that in my own garage. I will eventually get those tools, but that thing is slinging grease all around the inside. That's why I'm babying this thing and I'm not going too fast. So anyways, catch you guys later.